Hey there, welcome to the latest episode of Hiker Homily. I'm hanging out here in the old backyard. This is my outdoors area. I'm actually having a good time. Aside from hiking, I have a lot of other hobbies, and one of them is gardening. I've got a nice little garden going. I've been trimming some trees and things like that, so I'm taking a little bit of a break, hanging out on my little swing chair here. And this time I want to talk a little bit about recovery foods. Hey, did you know that hikers are considered endurance athletes? Hey, isn't that awesome? We're endurance athletes. I'm telling you. Any of you who have done any kind of long distance hiking or any kind of decent amount of backpacking and stuff, you knew that. But it is a lot of the same thing that long distance runners, long distance bicyclists, and all that kind of stuff. A lot of the same kind of stuff that they go through. Hikers need to keep in mind. So recovery foods are a big part of that. Things that you eat either daily as part of your diet to help with things, or right after an intense hike or a long hike, if you're able to, that can help in your body recovering and dealing with any of the damage you may have done to it doing this long endurance stuff. So the big one for that, and the usual caveat I'll put out there is I'm an avid hiker. I've been doing it for a while. I do have some experiences with cross-country runners and things like that, doing some research to help my son out. My wife is a coach, listening to some of the things that she's learned. I am not a nutritionist or anything like that. I'm just going over some of the things that I have researched and that I myself have used that I know works. So there's that disclaimer, so to speak. I'm not claiming to be an expert. I'm just saying here's my experience and here's what I've looked at and talked to some folks who are actually a little bit more expert at it than me and done some research on it, and here's what we go. The first thing I'll put out there is a lot of the experts actually don't have a specific time frame. They still kind of argue over the time frame. Generally, they think that a recovery meal should be eaten probably within 30 to 45 minutes of finishing the actual big activity. So a lot of the times when you're talking about bicyclists, runners, and things like that, so within a certain amount of time after a really heavy duty race, they should be doing some of these things and stuff like that. So for hikers, it's going to be, if you go on a day hike and the day hike lasts 3 hours, or if it lasts 6 hours, then within 30, 40 minutes, tops an hour of ending that hike, you should be doing some kind of recovery food type of thing. Now, if you're going to be hiking all day long, you're going to be doing some of this during the hike if you're able to. All right, so the first thing we're going to talk about is foods with really good potassium and electrolytes, and that's going to help with things like muscle cramps. It's going to help recover muscle recovery, healing them from the micro tears and things like that. And some of the better foods, if you're able to get them. Now, I understand long distance backpacking. Some of these are going to be tough unless you can dehydrate certain things, but the big stuff for those would be bananas, coconut water, avocado, watermelon, any kind of milk, yogurt, if you're able to stomach those kinds of things, that kind of dairy product. Those kinds of things usually are high in electrolytes, potassiums. They're definitely going to help you with muscle cramps and muscle recovery and things like that after dealing with a long thing. So if I go on a long, like the 20-mile hike I did with the scout troop that I'm part of, it was definitely a big thing. And I noticed, when my wife does the half marathons or they do the 10Ks, my son does the long runs and stuff like that, bananas, avocados, things like that are always there for the team after the races, after they've done their race and they've done their warm down run. That's always part of their regimen, is bananas, avocados, things like that, whatever they can get in there with that potassium in it, especially. All right, the next thing you're going to want to do for a recovery meal is proteins. You want to get some good proteins in there. They help repair micro tears that you may have put in your muscles. during hiking and things like that. And of course, proteins, you think meat, right? There's other sources too. Fish and eggs are a high source of protein, so those kind of specific types of animal products. Other types of meats, yes, definitely. Whey and soy are also good sources of protein. And then, of course, there's also, if you like the convenience of them, the protein drinks. You can get all kinds of protein drinks and snacks out there that can help. And some of those things, if you can carry them when you're hiking, you have that during your lunchtime. That's a good helper to keep you going for the day. Those kinds of things. Now, this next one I was actually surprised about. Watching the cross-country runners for the team that my son is on, I noticed that this coach, who is very big on getting the kids to eat healthy, drink healthy diets, for his athletes and things like that. One of the things he would have them do after long race days and heavy race days is drink chocolate milk. And I'm like, chocolate milk? You would think that's the opposite of healthy, right? But doing some research and talking to him about it, chocolate milk is actually what they call a vasodilator. He has them do that around 30 or 40 minutes after a serious race, because what happens is the caffeine in that particular kind of chocolate, either hot chocolate or chocolate milk, helps open the blood vessels in your body, which in turn helps your body get blood to parts of it, the muscles and things that need that repair, that need that help, and things like that. So chocolate milk after a hike, hey, I'm kind of down with that. Another thing for especially if you're on long distance hiking and things like that, and it's kind of a staple for most through hikers and things like that, are carbs that you usually get through things like pastas and stuff like that. For repetitive days of things like that, carbs are your body breaks them down faster than complex proteins, and so those are fast energies. If you're eating those when you're not an active person, they end up just being stored as fat because they get broken down quickly. Your body has nothing to do with them, and they end up getting stored. So carbs aren't necessarily a good thing if you are a stationary, sedentary type of person. But if you are out being active all the time, carbs are actually good. They energize your body. They give you quick energy, and you're burning it away. You're using it as fast as your body can get it in there and things like that. I know a lot of the cross-country runners, they do carb loading dinners the night before a big meet, because it's your body is processing that quickly and will be ready for you right away. Okay, turmeric and ginger are two things. If you add that to your diet on a regular basis, they help with they're anti-inflammatories. If you can stomach them, some people don't like the taste. I get it. It's kind of a strong thing. But if you can work it into, and not like just ginger flavored things, but actually have ginger in them or turmeric in them and things like that, they help with muscle and joint inflammation, which can in turn help with pain and stuff like that, right? Honey is a good recovery food. It kind of helps your muscles recover and things like that. And also, if you take honey on a daily basis, if it's local honey, if you're getting honey that's like processed 3 states over, not as good a thing. It's better than nothing. But local honey taken daily actually has been found to help with allergies, things like that, okay? And the last thing that I actually have found that I really enjoy is tart cherry juice. That's one of those things where, again, if it's part of your daily regimen, 2 cups a day, is again an anti-inflammatory, can even help with osteoarthritis sometimes, things in your joints and things like that. It'll help with any kind of pains and stuff like that. So if you can carry it when you're backpacking, especially on short trips, but definitely if you're a day hiker and you regularly day hike and you are starting to have some joint issues and things like that, that turmeric, that ginger, that will help. And also tart cherry juice, 2 8-ounce cups a day. And it really helps alleviate, helps with that pain, stuff like that. So those are the main recovery foods that I've kind of researched that I use a decent amount of times to recover from longer day hikes. When I go backpacking, some of these things, if it's a short back trip, if I can carry some of this stuff, I will carry it with me. On through hiking, definitely the carb loading to give you that energy you need in the day, the proteins when you can carry them, big stuff. So that's recovery foods for this episode. If you find it interesting, great. Do you have any other go-to recovery foods that I didn't list? Anything like that? Let me know in the comments below. As always, you can email me at hikingforhealthca@gmail.com. And of course, thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.